What up, Space Fam? Goes in here for AnimeUproar, and I'm back at it again to discuss the latest, craziest developments in the Demon Slayer story. And believe me, these are probably the craziest developments we've seen to date. The story is progressing at a blazing pace. If you enjoy seeing these weekly Demon Slayer videos, make sure to smash that like button to let me know. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell or you will miss new chapter reviews when they come out. For daily anime facts and to help decide what Demon Slayer videos I make in the future, follow us on Instagram at AnimeUproar. Obviously, there will be manga spoilers in this video. We are talking about the latest chapter, chapter 191 after all. You've been warned. Now without further ado, let's jump into it. For the chapter cover, we get an awesome colored image of Yoriichi, the strongest Demon Slayer in history, with his back to Tanjiro. It's not surprising that these characters are being shown together because, as we know by now, Tanjiro is a kind of successor to Yoriichi. Yoriichi's Breath of the Sun style, the first and strongest breath style, has been passed down through Tanjiro's family for generations in the form of the Dance of the Fire God. Tanjiro now uses the Dance of the Fire God, aka the Breath of the Sun, in battle. In the past, Yoriichi told his brother that there would be someone from later generations who will surpass even him, and it really seems like that person is destined to be our protagonist, Tanjiro Kamado, who was the first to awaken the Demon Slayer mark, the Red Sword, and learn the Dance of the Fire God. However, he's been out cold for a while, so the fact that we're finally seeing him on the cover suggests that he'll wake up in this chapter. We just had Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Kano show up last chapter, so the fact that we could get to see Tanjiro in this chapter is amazing. If you'll remember, in the last chapter, Muzan was doing pretty poorly against the Pillars and the Demon Slayers. I suggested that the tables would turn as early as this chapter, and let's see if I was right. This chapter is called Which One of Us is the Demon? A very interesting title. Of course, Muzan is supposed to be the only demon, but this chapter will in some way clearly challenge the boundary between humans and demons. We immediately jump to Yushiro, who is injecting Tanjiro with some of the antidote. Scratch that, with a lot of the antidote. It seems like Murata is worried, but Yushiro tells him that Tanjiro was poisoned by Muzan a long time ago, so he's in especially bad condition when compared to how the Pillars were. 2 chapters ago I mentioned this and how things looked especially bad for Tanjiro because his body has been exposed to the poison for so freaking long. Thank God that he's our protagonist, so a part of us should know that he'll survive this seemingly unsurvivable situation. Then we see a good sign. Murata tries to free Tanjiro from his sword, but Tanjiro's hand won't let go of it. Even though he's unconscious, he hasn't given up the will to fight. We also see Rengoku's flame Tsuba, aka Guard, on Tanjiro's sword, which I love. The fire of the great Rengoku burns on, and he's still with us in spirit, even though he passed away many chapters ago. Suddenly they notice a pulse coming from Tanjiro. The pulse is weak, but the hype is real. This means we might see Tanjiro open his eyes soon. And I say eye in the singular because the flesh-destroying poison has totally erased Tanjiro's other eye by this point. I'm not going to lie, he looks absolutely terrible right now, but at least we are told that dawn is near. They are trying to get him up to defeat Muzan. They say the others have cornered Muzan, so they want Tanjiro to help finish him off. Just when it looks like he won't wake up and Yushiro is thinking that it's no use because his pulse is fading, they hear a sound. It's Tanjiro's sword, and the next thing you know, Tanjiro opens his eye, finally. His last performance against Muzan was pretty anticlimactic, but I'm sure that he'll more than make up for it now. Then we jump to Muzan versus the Pillars and the Demon Slayers. One of the weaker members of the Demon Slayer Corps is watching and he's impressed. It looks to him like the Demon Slayers might just do it. They might just last until dawn and finally defeat Muzan. This is definitely how it looked last chapter. Muzan couldn't finish off the Pillars, Zenitsu and the rest showed up, and Muzan even took a huge body shot from Gyome's Wrecking Ball. Now Sanemi picks up one of the paper talismans, which makes him invisible and allows him to see the other characters wearing the paper talismans. Sanemi is excited as usual and he goes in to do some damage to Muzan's tentacles. Gyome accesses the see-through world to learn more about Muzan and some of his body's possible weaknesses. Some of you wonder how Gyome can see the see-through world if he's blind, but it can be accessed through your other senses. For Gyome, he listens closely to reverberations and he can see it that way. He notices some stuff that we figured out when we saw Muzan's fight against Yoriichi, namely that he has multiple brains and hearts. He can obviously make more organs than one body should be able to have. Gyome realizes that this is the reason he won't won't die when his head is cut. His brains and hearts don't even have fixed locations, rather they move, making them even more difficult to hit. Then Gyomei gets a plan. He thinks that if the others can gain access to the see-through world, they may be able to time an attack where they can hit all 12 vital spots at the same time, and thus win. They don't know at this point that Muzan can explode into over 1,800 pieces and regenerate later from a fraction of the pieces. Only Tanjiro got a glimpse of that when he saw the Demon King of Pops fight against Yoriichi. Something really cool proceeds to happen. Gyomei tells my boy Iguro aka Little Orochimaru to look closely at Muzan. Amazingly, that is enough for Iguro to glimpse the see-through world for a moment. This adds even more credence to how strong Iguro really is. I feel like a lot of people sleep on Iguro's talent, but he's been killing it during this battle, and now he's one of the talented few to see the see-through world. Just when things seem at their worst for Muzan, we get a full page of his tentacles going crazy and destroying the area around him. The weaker member of the Demon Slayer Corps that was watching hears the sound of this attack and senses the shaking. He checks on the fighting and sees something shocking. Almost everyone looks dead. The tables have been turned that freaking quickly. Even I didn't think that the change would be so sudden, but Muzan took out the strongest pillars. Gyomei, Sanemi, Giyu, Iguro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke are all badly injured. It looks like Gyomei lost his left leg, Giyu his right arm, and the others could have been wounded just as seriously. This is insane. It reminds me of when Yushiro used Genjutsu on Nakime and Muzan so that it looked like Iguro and Mitsuri were defeated and badly wounded. The sudden switch is similar too. We didn't get to see exactly how everyone got hit, but we see their already severely damaged bodies. Of course, I don't think this is Genjutsu. Nakime should be dead, Yushiro was helping Tanjiro, and the idea that he'd get close to Muzan is unrealistic, and last but not least, I don't think the mangaka would try to pull the same thing twice. This time, the injuries are real, and the defeated include the strongest pillars like Gyomei and Sanemi. Kano appears to be the last human still conscious. She thinks that Muzan is too fast, and you can see how scared she is. We have a panel with her on her knees and her blade is broken. She's powerless and Muzan is looming over her. It really seems like the end for Kanao. She's completely outmatched here. Kanao is trying to convince herself to stand up. She's thinking to herself that she must defeat him. She must ensure that the other Butterfly Estate girls can live in peace. Muzan and his demons are responsible for the deaths of their families and the deaths of Shinobu and Kanae. She is ready to die. She wants to beat him even if it kills her. She wants to bravely avenge everyone's death and prevent future suffering. Then the weaker member of the Demon Slayer Corps, who was watching before, starts running to Kanao, yelling "Stop it" to Muzan. Muzan obviously doesn't care or notice and raises his arm, preparing to give a finishing blow. Just then, all hype limiters explode. Muzan gets attacked by a move called Beneficent Radiance. Muzan's arm that was raised is cut off. He's shocked. He looks in the distance and sees Tanjiro. He has rescued Kano and quickly taken her away to the member of the Demon Slayer Corps so he can keep her safe. Kano has tears in her eyes and Tanjiro assures her that it's him and he apologizes for being late. Does this remind anyone else of when Iguro took Mitsuri to safety? In my How Strong Is Kano video, I talked about some reasons that I ship Tanjiro and Kano. And wow, after this chapter, all I have to say is all aboard. Muzan approaches Tanjiro and tells him that he looks positively awful. The right side of his face is consumed by Muzan's flesh-destroying poison. This is probably why Kano was in part concerned while looking at Tanjiro and why he had to confirm that it was indeed him. When Tanjiro looks at Muzan, he looks horrible, but he also looks determined to win. He looks scarier than Muzan, and I'm sure Muzan is shaking in his boots right about now. He even says that it's hard to tell which one of them is the demon. Muzan gets a glimpse of Yoriichi, again inviting comparisons between the two Breath of the Sun users. Muzan, the big bad villain of the series, tells Tanjiro that he's making his skin crawl, while Tanjiro seems completely calm and says, "Let's finish this, Muzan." And that is the end of one of the craziest and most epic chapters ever. Wow. I knew Muzan would turn the tables and Tanjiro would be needed, but I had no idea it would all happen so fast. Keep in mind, we're still waiting on Nezuko, so she could come into play soon. Right now though, it definitely seems like Tanjiro's destiny to defeat Muzan as Yoriichi's successor is definitely coming into fruition. One question is, does Tanjiro just look like a demon or is he actually becoming a demon with a demon power boost of his own? How strong is Tanjiro now since he didn't succeed in doing much before he fell into a coma-esque sleep? How strong is awakened Tanjiro? He seems to be extremely strong. He appears to be in his selfless state. He's not insulting Muzan or getting overly emotional. He's just matter-of-factly telling him that it's time for them to finish this. If we remember, against Akaza, Tanjiro's selfless state put him ahead of Akaza temporarily. Akaza couldn't stop him from cutting off his head, even though he knew he was coming, since Tanjiro told him he'd cut off his head before he did it. In the selfless state, Tanjiro doesn't give off hatred or killing intent, so Akaza couldn't sense him coming, and was caught completely off guard when Tanjiro cut his arm. This time, Tanjiro proved that he can similarly catch Muzan, the strongest demon, off guard and cut his arm off. Chances are though that Tanjiro's power has escalated even further since his awakening. There's obviously a reason he had to pass out. He needed to unlock a new power through those flashbacks. He probably won't develop demon powers, although that would be kind of cool, but he likely learned how to fight better from watching Yoriichi through his ancestors' memories. He could have even unlocked or remembered the 13th Breath of the Sun move by now, which has been hyped up as a key to beating Muzan. Now there appears to be no doubt. Awakened Tanjiro has surpassed the pillars, and it even looks like he surpassed the strongest pillar, Gyomei, who was taken out by Muzan. It's still too early though to assume that he surpassed Yoriichi, even though Yoriichi did suggest that someone, probably Tanjiro, would surpass him eventually. It's interesting that Tanjiro has now become the Goku of the series. Previously, Gyomei was set up as the Goku of the series, meaning he usually comes in the nick of time and gives everyone present a sense of relief and the feeling that everything will be alright. However, he was taken out by Muzan, and Tanjiro is now the one serving that role. He rescued Kanao in the nick of time and gave her and us hope that Muzan could be stopped. Let me know what you think is going to happen with Tanjiro's horrible wound. Will he die defeating Muzan, or will Nezuko be able to help cure him? It's an interesting choice to have Tanjiro fight against Muzan alone at this point. Of course, he might get help later, but so far it's always been a team effort, except when Yoriichi was fighting. It appears now that the other pillars and demon slayers are so hurt that Tanjiro will have to have a 1 vs 1 stand against Muzan. This 1 vs 1 setup goes to further mirror Muzan's fight against Yoriichi. We saw this mirroring happen when Muzan looked at Tanjiro and saw Yoriichi. Muzan is scared that Tanjiro will finish what Yoriichi started, and that is exactly what it looks like will happen. And that is it for today's chapter review. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more weekly chapter reviews, make sure to smash that like button to let me know. Turn it blue like Gyu's sword. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell or you will miss future videos when they come out. For daily anime facts and to help decide what videos I make in the future, follow us on Instagram at AnimeUproar, link in the description. Demon Slayer is one of my favorite series of all time, and we are experiencing probably the most exciting part of the entire story right now. I just want to say that I am super grateful that I get to experience it as it happens together with you. It's awesome that we can all experience this amazing work of art together. A special thank you goes out to our patrons over on Patreon who help us survive YouTube issues and who help make videos like this one possible. I especially want to thank our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, $50 Beat, Anatoly Kazatsky, Alpha Dio, Angel Cruz, Team Sparky 65, Cricket XP, Rohan Kapoor, Jessica Maloney, Emperor Otaku, and Timothy Edward Vargas. And are the 1 tier patrons the ones who stand atop all clans? Steven Ingrata, Alola Natem, Makoto Kun, The World, Steelers, The School Bus, and Tyson Quirino. Thank you all so much. If you enjoy our work, you can support more of it by going over to patreon.com/AnimeUproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these epic people right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord where we talk about anime, life, and of course, dank memes. So check out patreon.com/AnimeUproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also now join the YouTube channel and support more content that way if you prefer. Whichever way you choose to support us, you will get the same great benefits. Thanks again, and until next time, see you, Space Cowboy.